In this video, we're going to talk about how we can use function notation when given a graph. So we're trying to evaluate, find inputs and outputs, but all we have is a graph and we don't have a function rule anymore. So we have this graph that shows us the distance from a motion detector and the time in seconds. Okay, so this graph would represent f of x, those are our outputs, and our inputs would be our x values. This graph shows the relationship between our inputs, time, and our outputs, distance. So they want us to find f of 0. When we remember from function notation that 0 would be an input. So basically that's saying when x is 0, what is my output? I'm trying to figure out what is the output value. So on our graph, we go to where x is 0. Well, x is 0 right here. If this is where 0 is, they're asking me what's my y value, or the corresponding output for this input. So I go up. There's the point on my graph. So the y value there would be 2. So when I have 0 as an input, I should get out a 2. This means at 0 seconds, the person is 2 feet from the motion detector. So now we're going to do the same thing for f of 8. This is our x value. It's basically saying if x is 8, what's our y value, which remember we call f of x. So I go over to where x is 8, I go up to find my graph, here's the point, and when I look over to the y value, it says that it's also 8. So what this is saying is that at 8 seconds, I'm 8 feet away. Well, now we're given f of x is equal to 3. And they're asking us what x is because this time they give us the output. Remember, f of x is just a fancy way of saying y, so essentially this says y is equal to 3. So this time I'm going to go up to where y is 3. I'm going to scoot over to find the x value that gave me that. Here's the point on my graph. The input value at that point is 1, so x is equal to 1. In function notation, that would say f of 1 equals 3. So at 1 second, the person is 3 feet away from the motion detector. In our last one, we have f of x is equal to 7. So again, 7 is our output, our y value. So I go to where y is 7. I scoot over to find the input that gave me that value. Well, there's 1. But if I keep going, I see that it hits my graph again over here. So at the first point, our time is 3. So x could be equal to 3. But at the second point, our x value was 10. So what this means is that at both 3 seconds and 10 seconds, the person is 7 feet away from the motion detector.